Okay, people. So, hey, it's another week, and the LFA are doing their thing. Hey, I have to say, right? Whenever there is a big UFC card on a Saturday, that's always fun, right? It's always fun. But you think to yourself, what could make it better? I'll tell you, people, it's when you've got an LFA on a Friday because man, those guys know how to put on a fun ass card. And yeah, this week was no different. It was LFA 119, headlined by two title. Yeah, that's right, people. Two title fights, right? We had a middleweight fight, you know, bringing it all home. Josh Silveira against Revel. And before that, in the co-main, we had a bantamweight championship fight. We had Alan Begoso against Richard Palencia. Right, so yeah, it was great. And before that, four more fights. So this was a fun ass card coming from the Phoenix, actually the Arizona Federal Theater in Phoenix. Woo! Need to get them words right, people. Now, what was just ridiculous about this card was the first four fights didn't go the distance. We had just insane finishes. It really was. Like, yo, these people, man, it sometimes you have these cards where the fighters just are like, you know what? Nah, we're putting on a show. Yeah, there's no caution happening here. And that's what happened, man. That is exactly what happened. There was some drama. This had everything. So first fight on the main card, it was I haven't worked out how to watch the prelims. I'm sure they get shown somewhere. I ain't worked it out yet. I need to try and get on that. But the main card opened with a welterweight clash. We had a video man, I'm just bad with names. A video Bulgareke against Ray Walters. You know what I mean? I mean, if I was Ray is a great fighter. I'd change the nickname. All Day Sweet Baby. I mean, it don't really roll off the tongue. Don't really roll off the tongue. You know what I mean? But yeah, both fighters have been doing their thing, you know. Um, yeah, and they were coming in undefeated, which is always something. It's always something, right? Now, they were also both of similar age, you know what I mean? But here's the thing, right? There was no holding back in this fight. They both came out real busy, both through leg kicks, but Walters grabbed the kick. Well, he timed a superb power takedown, and he took a video down. Oh my day, he took him down. He took him down, and he was just on top with some ground and pound, right? He was working methodically, you know what I mean? It was all very methodical, and then it wasn't. You know what I mean? We got close to the end of that round, and Walters just turned it on. Turned it on, and the referee had to stop the fight. It was an impressive showing because Oviedo, he just couldn't get off the bottom. Couldn't get off the bottom. Walters kept himself on top, kept busy, but wasn't reckless. And then when he saw the opportunity, he let it go. Whoa. You know what I mean? So he goes to 2-0 now, 5-fight win streak. It is going to be interesting to see what he does. To see what he does next. So this was the first bit of controversy. We had a lightweight clash next. Both fighters, I don't know if both fighters missed weight or if it was a you know what I mean? It was a late booking, so there was the allowance. You know what I mean? But yeah, both came in a little bit over 155, right? So we had Austin Worms against Chris Rentaria, right? And the thing was, they both used to train together. They've been training for about a year. Supposedly they were friends, but Rentaria left the gym. There was a little bit of, a situation. Not when I say a situation, I think he just wasn't a fit for him. Wasn't a fit for him. He left the gym, and he jumped at the fight. Jumped at the fight with Worms, and Worms was a little bit shocked. Felt a little bit disrespected. But they still, there wasn't any beef between them as such. But Renteria was coming in undefeated, 2-0. Worms 3-3. So, you know what I mean? It was just like, it's an interesting one. And I think the big thing was, how were these fights going in training, right? How did the training sessions go, right? There is that. But then also, how long had Renteria been at the new gym? Because, hey, training could have been, pretty even, but go to a new gym, pick up new skills. Look at you know what I mean? Kamara Usman, he was, man, at Stanford, he won the belt, but since going to Whitman, his stand-up has looked even sharper, right? Which is insane. So there is always that fuck. I can't think of the word I'm thinking of, but there's that thing, right? There's that thing where you can't just go, oh, well, clearly it's gonna go like this, right? And man, this, you know what I mean? Whew, this was a quick one. So Renteria, he got a takedown. He took Worms down. But hey, Worms just threw up those legs. And he grabbed that arm. Man, Renteria tried the slam escape. And I mean, the slam escape is not a great escape, right? It sometimes works, but you have to say the percentage of the slam working is kind of low, right? Yeah. Now, if you're gonna pick them up, shake it off. Shake it off. I mean, do what Taylor said, right? That's what you do. Or you just ease it out. Ease it out, baby, right? But Renata went for the slam. And as what happens, oftentimes you put yourself deeper in. Then Worms is able to extend the arm more and go belly up, forcing Renata to the ground, and that was it. As soon as it hit the ground, you just saw that arm. Oh, it didn't look good. It didn't look good. And you just like, yeah, of course, right? I think there was probably a couple of seconds, and then you just saw just tap, 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 tap. You know what I mean? It was over. And hey, no shame, because hey, if you've been deep in an armbar, you know, you know how painful that fucking thing is, right? So, yeah, Austin Worms won that one, and at the end, you know, I mean, he was still, we're still cool, we're still cool, but don't disrespect me, son. And yeah, I think Renatia understands that for sure. So yeah, after that, you know what I mean? So two first round finishes, people. Two first round finishes, and that second one even quicker than the first, right? So it's just like, oh, what's gonna happen next? So we have a featherweight clash. We have Isaac Thompson against Dorian Ramos. Both fighters undefeated, both 2-0, right? And Thompson coming out of God damn it, alpha male, right? So you know that jujitsu's tight, the wrestling is tight, right? And his parents both compete, right? So you just like, it's ingrained. Motherfucker was born on the mats. And he looked loose. Thompson looked real loose, right? But Ramos able to get a takedown from a kick, right? And I think that was the thing. Thompson was real loose, and it was one of those situations, right? We've seen it with Verdun, where someone, they know their jiu-jitsu is so good, it's just like, whatever, man, take me down. I don't care. Because even on the ground, you're fucked. You're fucked. You know what I mean? So I think Thompson had that confidence coming into this fight. And hey, you know what I mean? What he showed on the ground, you can understand, because he was attacking Ramos straight away. You know, leg locks, triangles, arm bars, everything. He was going after everything. There was an arm bar that looked so tight, and also they were up against the fence, right? They were up against the fence, and so you're thinking, has Ramos even got the room to escape this? I mean, but Ramos, he kept that composure, man. He kept that composure. And I think the thing with it, right? So Thompson, I think Thompson's like 19, right? He was 19. And Ramos, he's 27. You know what I mean? So it was just like, all right, yeah, there's definitely that understanding. And I think one thing you were saying is, I got man strength, right? Which, you hear people farmer strength and things like that, but yeah, these are all things. And I think Ramos had got 2 extra fights in his amateur career. So Thompson had 2 amateur fights, won them both. Ramos had 4, he won those both. So there's a little bit of extra experience. And yeah, Ramos, he kept that composure. He was escaping. And when, you know what I mean, those moments where he wasn't fighting off a submission, he was throwing some shots. He was throwing some shots, landing some big punches, hammer fists, all of that kind of thing. Now, Thompson didn't look like he was in trouble with any of that, and he was, going for, you know, all of these submissions. So, it was an interesting situation. But towards the end of that first round, Ramos, he was able to get top position, a better, top position, a more controlled top position. And he started to land some big shots, And, there was scrambles. Thompson was able to get up. Ramos took him down. And you kind of thought, oh, is Thompson getting a little tired? Because a lot happened. A lot happened at the start of this fight, right? So we go into the second round. First fight into the second round. And hey, they're on their feet. Thompson stand up. His stand up look real crisp. Ramos, they were both landing jabs, but Ramos, it didn't look as sharp. He was throwing and kind of ducking the head as he was throwing. But again, Thompson threw a kind of a lazy kick. Ramos took him down. And he's in a dominant position. And now he's really dropping the ground and pound, right? Get some elbows off. And it got to a situation where now he's I think he was in mount, or he had the back. No, he was in mount. Thompson scrambled, and Ramos had his back. Ramos tried a couple of rear nakeds, but Thompson kind of easily was able to maneuver out of those. But Ramos, he's riding Thompson, and he just starts to unload. He flattens him out, and he starts to drop elbows to the side of the head. Now, to be fair, right, it didn't look like Thompson was out, right? But he was taking a lot of shots. He was moving. So you could think it might have been stopped a little early. But, but then on the flip, he's young. He's 19. There's no need to take a whole load of damage, right? There's no need to take a whole load of damage. And this is probably a good thing for him, I would say, because, as I said, he was mad confident in that jiu-jitsu, and he did show skills. But I think some of the transitions were a little bit rushed, right? And with that confidence, he didn't push to stand up, right? He got up towards the end of the first round, but I feel after seeing how crispy stand up was, it would have been better for him to try and get up earlier, land, get some damage off, mix it up, right? Mix it up. So Ramos didn't know what was coming. He was always guessing. But yeah, when Ramos got in that, in dominant top position, he weren't ramping. So it was a great stoppage for Dorian Ramos. And boy, the elation he had. Because it was a hometown fight for him. He's at the lab, right? So he looked super happy. And to be honest, they both look decent. So they're both still, it's still early in both careers. So you know what I mean? It's not the end for Thompson by any means. I'm definitely curious to see both of their next fights, right? So we then go to the flyweight division. We had Rodney Kazeshi, right? Rodney Kaloe against Clayton Carpenter. And another fight with a little bit of controversy. I mean, I say controversy, right? I mean, it was one of those ones where you'd be like, ah, man, I mean, you don't even want to talk about this shit, right? Because Chloe, his fiance, had fought Carpenter's sister. Carpenter's sister had lost. So, sorry, Carpenter's sister won the fight. So, in Chloe, he wanted to try and get one back for his girl, right? He wanted to get one back for his girl, which you understand. You kind of understand. But, you know what I mean? Even a win isn't like, yay. You know what I mean? Still lost. Like you think she needs to get the rematch. That's the fight, right? To go for that rematch. But also, you don't want to come into a fight with, I mean, too much stress or pressure on your shoulders. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? They both look confident coming in. But boy, Carpenter, right, who was 4-0, hasn't tasted defeat one little bit, you know what I mean, which is always something. And he'd had a very good, stellar amateur career, just losing one of his amateur fights, right? But he had 7 amateur fights, so 6-1, which is very good. But yeah, hadn't lost as a pro, right? And Chloe, who was coming in 4-3, right? Coming off a loss in his last fight, but had looked good. You know what I mean? We've seen him fight extremely well. You know what I mean? They both fought under LFA before, right? So yeah, they both know how to fight. But I feel Carpenter just has that. He had that confidence of, I ain't lost, man. I'm undefeated. No one can beat me. And he just pushed forward out the gate, landing a nice jig. Man, he utilized that jab extremely well, people. Extremely well. So he knocks Chloe back with a jab. Big jab. And then he lands a head kick, stuns Chloe, follows it up with a hook, and Chloe is done. He's done. And the fight could have ended there, right? Chloe goes down. Carpenter follows up with, I think, a couple of hammer fists. It's over. It is over. But boy, you know what I mean? That was, whew, it was a very, very big win for Clayton Carpenter, who grabbed that mic, took that opportunity, and he, called for that title shot. So we will see. We will see. But hey, Clayton Carpenter looks like a problem, but it'll be interesting to see what he can do with a stiffer test in front of him. All right, so it's our title fights, people. So as I said, look, the co-main event was for the vacant bantamweight title. Vacant bantamweight title. We had Alan Bagoza against Richard Palencia. And man, so this went the distance, right? It did go the distance. Both fighters coming in undefeated. Both fighters coming in undefeated, which is always impressive. So Bagosia was 6-0-1, 6 wins, 1 draw, right? And yeah, he'd had 1 amateur fight, right? Palencia, he came in, 9-0, 10 amateur fights, right? So yeah, a problem, right? They both know how to throw down. They both know how to throw down. And hey, out the gate, Bogosian was looking good. Landed some good shots. Landed some good shots. I feel he probably took the first round. But then Palencia, man, he was able to get a takedown. And once it was on the ground, it was like Bogosian just, he wasn't able to get up. He wasn't able to get up, and Palencia was just able to control the fight. He was able to control the fight. And that was it, basically. You know what I mean? It was just Palencia just controlling it. Like it wasn't crazy. Like you always thought if Bogosian, like, was when Bogosian's up, he was landing some shots, but as the fight went on, it looked like he had faded a little. Not crazily, but he just slowed down just a tidge. Just a tidge. Right? And Palencia's confidence had gone mad up. So yeah, he was able to control the fight until the end. Right? Until the end. I think we had a minute left. A minute left. And Bogosian's corner were just like, you need to end this fight, right? And at first it was just a bit, I don't know, because he wasn't overly pushing, but a minute left, he lands a over the top left and puts Palencia down. He gets up, Bogosian lands a hook. Palencia goes down again. He's in trouble. He's in trouble. Bogosian is throwing shots, and you're just like, wow, is it over? Is Bogosian gonna pull this fight out the fire? Man, Palencia, yeah, gotta give it to him, because even though he was hurt, right? Even though he was hurt, he got a takedown. He got it to the ground, and then that was it. That was it. And you're just like, oh my gosh, Bogosian, he let himself have his back against the fence, right? And then Palencia was able to get a hold of him, and he just didn't defend. He didn't defend the takedown very well. And yeah, Palencia was able to get him down and just finish the fight. Finish the fight. Right? Which, you cannot begrudge, because Palencia had controlled things. Now, Bogosian had, right, that he had, there were some good submission attempts earlier on in the fight. But yeah, Palencia, he deserved a win. You know what I mean? And it doesn't always work out. Like, you know what I mean? That you get it, but Palencia got it and is the new LFA bantamweight champion. So from there, it's the main event, baby. It's the main event. So we had Jared Revel, who is, he was a middleweight champion in a Canadian organization, right? Yeah, I think it's the BFL, right? He was their champion, and he's had a lot of fights, right? He's had a lot of fights. He was coming in 11-2, 11-2. You know what I mean? And he's going up against Josh Silveira, right? Who's 6-0. 6-0, right? So there's definitely a big difference in experience, but Silveira is the LFA light heavyweight champion. You know, his dad, Conan Silveira, right? Legend in the sport. He's hearing American top team, right? So you just think of their training partners, their championship caliber at that gym, right? The people whose experience Silveira can just, go off of. And the confidence after that quick finish against T. Cummins to become the light heavyweight champion. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just like there's a confidence that can, balance out the experience deficit there. And, Josh Silveira, he just came forward. He had Revel on the back foot from the giddy up, landing that jab, striking to the body. He just looked extremely good. And he was getting takedowns, which you did wonder, right? Because Revel I think he's a black belt, second dan in jiu-jitsu. Silveira isn't a black belt, but again, his dad's Conan Silveira, right? His dad's Conan Silveira. You think of all the great jiu-jitsu practitioners at American Top Team. So you kind of figured that the jiu-jitsu would balance itself out, but you did wonder, will Silveira want to fuck around on the ground with Revel, right? Or does he want to do that? Yeah, he does. He does. And to be honest, pretty much dominated on the ground. Pretty much dominated on the ground. Now, Revel, being a black belt, he was very savvy, right? So he didn't allow Silveira to lock up a lot of a lot of submission attempts. There was one point Silveira did get the back, did look like he might grab that rear naked, but Revel was able to escape. But yeah, Silveira he did pretty much control it. Revel did land on the feet, but it was Silveira who looked like he was doing the damage. You know what I mean? He was landing the shots. So a few body shots, you think, oh, he might have hurt Revel with that one. You know what I mean? And he was throwing in the kicks. After a head kick knockout, you can definitely see the confidence was there. There was head kicks. There was some vicious body kicks. So this one, it went the distance, but yeah, Josh Silveira just looked extremely good, extremely good, extremely, at ease at all moments of the fight, and is now LFA champ, middleweight and light heavyweight champion. So you got to say, what is next? Is he ready for the big show? We will see, people. We will see. After this win, wouldn't be surprised if he gets a call up, whether it be UFC or Bellator. Wouldn't be surprised. Now, I would say, maybe a couple more fights at least in LFA. I would say that just because once you're in those big shows, there's no easy fight, right? Especially the UFC. I think Bellator, they are more likely to feed you a more, an opponent that you might be, right? We've seen that happen, but it's still, you know what I mean? A different situation. So yeah, I would say maybe Silveira takes a couple more fights in LFA, but hey, wouldn't be surprised if he does move on from this. If this was the last LFA fight he has. But either way, big things ahead for Josh Silveira, man. Big things ahead. And another great LFA card and a great lead in to the UFC Saturday night.